society today, we are being attacked constantly with inauthentic conversations. Fakeness, trying to look cool, trying to be somebody we're not. That is why the Damn Dude podcast is here to have the authentic conversations that need to be had in a way that will make you think and say, Damn Dude. Damn Dude.
What up, everybody? What is good? Welcome to the Damn Dude podcast.
Damn, dude.
This is season 3, episode 7, and this is a show where we have the conversations that need to be had in a way that'll make you think and say, damn, dude.
Damn Dude.
Damn, dude.
This show exists to help educate, entertain, and make an impact on the different contexts and perspectives that we have in life in order to be able to lead a doper, easier, smoother life. Because I truly believe that the more access we have to different contexts, perspectives, and outlooks on life, the easier it is, smoother it is, and cooler it is to navigate through life. You dig? I'm your host, California Cal, one of the cool Californians left in this state. I'm not coming to ruin yours. And, you know, I'm here to always grow and expand and change my own mindset. I don't like just staying, this is how it is forever. I always want to learn some new shit, right? So within that, I want to set a new intention into my life, which is, and a new context to live into, which is, I am simply claiming my prosperous heritage from the source of all my blessings.
Damn Dude.
Damn, dude.
I'm simply claiming my prosperous heritage from the source of all my blessings.
Damn, dude.
And I believe the source of all my blessings to be of God. And within my evolution, let me say this. I used to always think that I was the source of my own blessings, which I am. And why am I so quiet sounding? What is going on? At the same time, because I am the source of my own blessings, I am a child of God. I am of nature. I am a human being, not a fucking robot, none of this other shit. And therefore, I come from the Creator. And it's like, okay, well, yes, I come from my parents, but they came from their Creator, and they came from their parents and their parents and their parents. And if we boil it all the way back down to everybody's last and final parents, at some point, the Creator, the source, has to, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could take it all the way back, and there's got to be a starting point, right? So that's where I'm like, all right, how do I tap into that? Well, tapping into God, tapping into the source of life. And another cool ass quote that I had written down, I wasn't even planning on sharing this, but it's written on my whiteboard over here. It says, I stir up the gifts of God within me and around me, and I am blessed on every hand with happiness, success, and true achievement.
Damn Dude.
Damn, dude.
Now that's an idea we can all live into, right? Like, that's pretty fucking useful, I think. So yeah, man, I think it's only fair that we step up and take what's ours in life. You know what I mean? Because it's like, if God blessed us with life, He's going to want our life to be rich and full and purposeful and meaningful, not to be full of shit, sports and fucking beer and all this other bullshit. There's nothing wrong with indulging in these things or appreciating those things. But what I'm saying is, when you've got a whole life structured around that and all fun and everything, all trails lead to that, then that's not very good, right? Like, then we got an actual issue at hand. So speaking of issues, I had I wrote this episode really weird. I wrote this episode in a way and kind of like planned it differently than I normally do. So that's why I'm kind of like all over the place. Well, at least in my head, if I don't sound like it. But like I really wrote this all different. So anyways, I'm a pretty fucking random person, so let's just do this. We're shifting gears here into a poem called Dear Weed. Dear Weed, I can have problems, stress out, and hit the bong. The only problem is, after smoking for 20 years long, the weed don't hit that strong. The weed used to help when I'd want to haul off on a person, or want to harm myself, or get lost in my thoughts. Now it just makes me soft. Abuse is not its purpose. Smoke for insight and appreciation. Let the medicine present the lessons. The happiness and peace is internal. Have appreciation and ceremony. Let the weed deliver God's message. Now, that's not that great of a poem in terms of like the wording and sentence structure and all that shit. At the same time, that's pretty deep. It's like, dude, like as I look at that for myself and the evolution of weed and how I relate to it and what it means to me and how it works for me, is that it's like I used to use it as a mask and as a tool to be okay. But now that I realize it and I grow older, the lessons within weed is like I had gotten to a point of abuse with it versus where it was like I was needing it to feel normal rather than using it to learn and gain insights and download new knowledge and information, right? Because the point of getting high is not to, well, I mean, I guess that can vary for anybody what the point of it is. But what I'm seeing is like the point of it for me at this point in time is that it's to help bring out deep conversation and lessons and to download information from God due to, or not, or even, you know, from God or from the ether, from the universe, from the, what exists in between, right? Like the space of heaven, the space of divinity, like what messages can present themselves through the plants and communicate themselves through the plants, which we indulge in. And this has to do with the food we eat, the, you know what I'm saying? The things we watch, things we listen to, whatever we fucking intake or partake in is all a part of who we are and our cellular makeup and what we believe and how we think and all that shit. So it's just like I've been on a very interesting path of learning lately, and like the shit I've been learning has been a trip. I'm still processing a lot of it, and I'll probably talk about this a little later in the next episode, but like I'm learning about like I've been learning about the laws of prosperity and realizing that there are laws to prosperity and how basically any law or rule of prosperity, which would mean anything to be prosperous, which would include things like exercise, good health, or I guess I should say overall good health, which would include exercise, eating good. You know, good health would also include what you feed your brain, what you feed your eyes, what you feed your ears, what you feed your body, how much nature you're exposed to or not exposed to, how much radiation, blue light, all this extra shit, right? Like, how much, like, excuse me, where am I going with this? My point is that all of that equals who the fuck we are, right? And it's who we are is a collection of what we take in, interpret, and then spit out and believe and think and all that, because it's all just a fucking cycle, right? What we interpret has to do with what we think versus and has to do with what we say, and it's just kind of on this forever cycle because it's like what we say dictates who we are, and who we are dictates what we think, and what we think dictates what we say, and what we say dictates what we think, and what we think dictates who we are, and it's this forever like infinite loop of that's never gonna actually like break. Just because that's the nature of existing in life, right? So, because of that, I'm continuously thinking and learning new shit. I'm like, all right, how do I keep evolving my brain? How do I keep growing? How do I keep learning? And, hold on one second. I need to write a note down. Sometimes when you guys catch me and I'm like, oh, I need to write a note down, it's because I have an idea, and oftentimes that little idea is the entire next episode. So I just got a good one. Anyways, the thing that we're really going to be getting into here in this episode, which has to do with always the overall common theme of the show, which is authenticity and keeping it real as fuck and just sharing real universal human shit, because we're all humans and we're all going to experience similar things. It's the same way. It's like if you were to judge cheetahs, you'd be like, well, this is how cheetahs act because they're cheetahs. This is the nature of a cheetah. Well, that's the thing, is like, as humans, we all think we're all fucking special and different and all this cool shit. And we are. And at the same time, you're not. Because when we take away your Jordans, your Louis Vuittons, your nice car, your status, your job title, all that shit, who are you? What do you got? Without a gun and a badge, what do you got? You got a sucker in a uniform waiting to get shot. Okay, sorry, it's just lyrics. Anyway, what do you got? Right? It's like, who are you without all that shit? Well, how do you figure that out? And why should you even figure it out? Well, you should figure out who the fuck you are, because that's going to dictate how much fulfillment and success and happiness you have at the end of your life, when your health is really what matters and your front, your coolness, your status doesn't fucking matter anymore. Well, this is why I think it's wise that I start thinking, and we all start thinking about, what if? What if you came home and your broad was given the next suck a dome? Oh, by the way, there's a great song called What If by Afroman and E40. Dope ass fucking song. Highly recommend you go have a smoke, kick back, listen to that song. It fucking tripped me. It trips me out whenever kind of stopped tripping me out, but it used to trip me out all the time. Anyway, dope song. And we're just gonna go over a few points here about some what if things, because it's not always wise to think in terms of what if. And what I've discovered is a healthy way to ask what if. And I'm going to kind of just like go over these and tag them with my own little answers and then just kind of keep going. It's more I'm doing this more so in hopes that I can say something by going through this process, that I'm able to say something or uncover something that's something said in words for you guys that you've only felt and haven't heard in words yet. That's kind of like a big point of the show, actually, is like a big point I'm trying to get at is to share these contexts and perspectives so that way it's able to put words to your emotions and your feelings.
Damn, dude.
That's a big part of why the show exists. I need to say that. Hold on one sec. I got a lot of side notes I'm writing here. Okay. Okay, got it, done, sorry. Okay, anyway, so, question, you guys. What if this is the way life is supposed to be? What if?
Damn, dude.
What if this is exactly how it's supposed to be? Look around you, where you're at, what you got, what you have, what you don't have, who you're in good standings with, who you're in bad standings with, who you're in debt to, who you're not in debt to, who's in debt to you. All of these factors. All the junk you haven't taken to Goodwill, the pile of trash in the corner, the disorganization here or there or whatever. What if this is exactly how it's supposed to be? Well, it is, because this is exactly how the fuck it is. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if we want to do anything, if we want anything other than how the fuck shit is, we got to do something about how the fuck shit is. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, however the fuck your shit is, however you're standing in life, that's exactly how the fuck it's supposed to be. And sometimes that fucking sucks, and sometimes it's fucking great, and sometimes it's right in the middle, and sometimes a little more and less than that. And this is exactly how it's supposed to be. Otherwise, it wouldn't be this way. Because reality and real life dictates that this is what it is. All the things you physically own, how you physically are, how you mentally are, how you financially are, how you spiritually are, is exactly where you're supposed to be in this point of your journey. And that's hard to accept a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? So what if this is exactly what's supposed to happen and how it all pans out? The shit you were thinking when you were in third grade and you're like, I'm going to be a such and such. I want to do this. I want to do that. You are that right now. You're in the process of becoming that person. You're making that person. You are that person. And that's what's crazy. It's like we literally are that motherfucker. And if you're still alive, then you're fucking blessed. And I highly encourage you and us all to not waste it. Because a lot of motherfuckers died in this process of life. And a lot of people are still dying and a lot more are going to die. And people will continue to die for the rest of life because that is life.
Damn, dude.
So, being that it's a fact that we're all going to fucking die, why don't we question shit and do shit and create our lives in a way and manner that makes life the coolest fucking possible thing for us, right? So it's like, dude, what if every single thing that's happening is happening? What if everything that's happened and is happening is the exact lesson and test specifically designed, crafted, and molded for you by God?
Damn, dude.
Damn, dude.
Yo. Well, fuck around and find out, right? So it's the thing is, if you're alive, then that means every single thing that's happened and is happening is exactly what the fuck is supposed to happen. And even if it fucking sucks and all your situations are complete ass like mine, like most of my situations in life are pretty assed out. I got a handful of situations that are really fucking great. And then a lot that are assed out and just a disaster. And this is like, all right, I got to remind myself that this is the test. This is the lesson. This is the exact steps that it takes to be the person that I declare myself to be and to live the life that I love and to take on the blessings that I've stirred up, that is in the magic of the air. The gifts of God are within me and around me, and I'm here to stir that up and spread that love and magic and have a piece of that for myself. Give me this day my daily bread. Give me my bread, because the fact that I am alive dictates that I deserve my bread.
Damn, dude.
And for the fact that you're alive and you still are here, you deserve your motherfucking daily bread every day. And we all deserve our daily fucking bread every motherfucking day. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, yo, because I'm alive, I'm entitled to my daily bread. Food is a right. It's a human right that we are allowed food. And that's what's so fucked up, is when you got all these people making all these crazy chemicals and all this crazy fake food and all this shit, you're fucking with our human right. You know what I mean? To eat fucking fruit roll-ups and shit, it's like, yes, they taste good. They taste great. But that's fucking with our human rights. And that's what's fucked up when you think about all this crazy food and fucked up oils and all this shit that we eat now, is like, is this really a part of the lesson and what's supposed to be happening right now? Well, yes, because it is. And if it is, then what the fuck are you going to do about it? Are you just going to roll with it? Or are you going to stand up and question and think on your own terms and create life for your motherfucking self? You know what I'm saying? Because everything that's happening right now is exactly what the fuck's supposed to happen. That doesn't mean that you're a victim or this or that. That means there's something you can do about it. If everything that's supposed to happen how it's supposed to happen is happening, then that means there's something you can do about it. So let's paint this into a picture. Let me see if I can say this without losing the point, which is, let's imagine you're driving down the freeway and a car crashes into another car in front of you. That's just what was supposed to happen, because that's exactly what happened. And if that's what happened, then that's what was supposed to happen. Therefore, what are you going to do about it? You could either just stay on the gas and act like All that shit's not there until you fucking crash and fuck around and find out in a shitty way. Or you can fucking hit the brakes, and that's your option. There's disaster in front of you. Are you going to hit the brakes? Are you going to hit the gas? Are you going to swerve around it? Are you going to not react? Are you going to overreact? Are you going to slam the brakes and turn the wheel? You know what I'm saying? It's like we have options. But the thing is everything that happens, whether it's good or bad, however the fuck you want it, we shouldn't be judging things as good or bad. Things just are. And I mean, yes. And then from there, when things just are and exist, you can fucking take that down any analysis or line of thinking or judgment of good or bad or right or wrong or whatever the fuck. But that's the thing, it doesn't really fucking matter. At the end of the day, is it happened or it didn't happen. And if it did happen or didn't happen, that's what the fuck was supposed to happen, because that's exactly what the fuck happened.
Damn, dude.
So, being that things are going to happen the way that they're going to fucking happen, no matter what, you can't make the person in front of you uncrash themselves from the car. It happened. So what are you going to do about it? Are you going to pull over and help? Are you going to drive by and say, ha, glad that wasn't me? Are you going to slow down and assess? Do they need help? You know, they look okay. They got this. Keep going. Oh, fuck, they're fucked up. Let's get some help. Do we need to call an ambulance? Do we need to call firefighters? Whatever the fuck, right? So that's why it's like, dude, when we think about it, it's like, dude, every single hardship that you're going through and that we're going through was specifically designed, crafted, and molded for you and your life, custom made. You cannot have anything custom made for you without some trial and error. If you're going to get a suit custom made for you, you think they got it correct just by looking off you right off the bat? No, you got to make measurements. You got to make cuts. You got to sew. You got to make commitments. At a certain point, after all your measurements and calculations, at a certain point, you got to cut the fabric. You got to do the thing that requires that go for it. You know what I mean? You can't play it safe the whole time. You know what I mean? It's like if you played it safe, you'd be like, oh, just give me a size large or medium. It wouldn't even be like, all right, I'm a 42 this, I'm a 30 this. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't even be the same. So if you think about it, that's kind of a metaphor how for a lot of people live their lives. A lot of people just say, oh, just give me a small, medium, or large in terms of their food they eat, the finances, their partner, their love life, their adventure, all of that. Their jobs, careers, all these things. People just say, just give me a size large. I'm cool. It doesn't matter if there's too much or too little. It doesn't matter if it's extra baggy. It'll fit good enough. But the thing is, good enough is not good enough. You know what I mean? Good enough is not great. Great is great. It's like, do you want to live a life of greatness or good enough? And at times, good enough would be that an absolute blessing. I get that. That's where I'm at right now. I'm like, dude, if I could just have good enough in terms of my finances and some other things at the moment, I would feel amazing. At the same time, I don't care about good enough. It's not good enough. I want great. I want great money. I want great relationships. I want a great career. I want great words. I want great thoughts. I want great places to come from. I want great context to play in. And you know what I'm saying? I want great perspectives. I want great experiences. So, So that's a big thing is like, dude, we can go for greatness because we have all these life lessons and tests exactly crafted and molded for us by God. Think about it. You weren't even as mad when the fucking bitch ass teacher gave you a test. You know what I mean? You went along with it. So why the fuck do you want to go against your test from God that was custom created for you in the words and the perspectives and the people and the everything that fits for you? Your ex-girlfriend, your ex-wife, your ex-boyfriend, your ex-husband, your ex this, that, whatever the fuck. That lesson, person, everything was custom made and custom designed for you. Every person that hurts you, every person that's hurt me, every person that we help or don't help or has helped us or not helped us or whatever the fuck. Yo, how much awareness do we have? All of the fact that that is specifically designed by God for us, and it is a fucking blessing. All the hardship you're going through, or we go through, or will go through, or have gone through, is an absolute blessing and test designed exactly for you.
Damn, dude.
What up, everybody? We bicycle. So, I'm like awkward feeling in my chair. So, yo, that hit me yesterday. I was like, holy fuck, dude. All of these lessons and tests and everything are custom built for me, dude. Like, the fuck? You know what I mean? Hell yeah. So, that leads me to the next thing, which is we all don't go through the same tests. We all do not go through the same tests. And we all do filter life through the same emotions at different times. What is the meaning of this? What if we were aware of that? What if we were aware of the fact that none of us go through the exact same test, and that's a blessing because that test is designed for you. It was custom built and custom made and custom molded for you and I and everybody. All the people that we've hurt, all the people that have hurt us, customization, right? Find peace around it. That's the next move. So, being that it's like, okay, well, sorry, let me say this. What if we were all aware of the fact that we all go through different tests, but yet we filter them all through the same emotions? So that kind of makes the test irrelevant. And that's the thing, is a lot of people get stuck on the outcome of their test, or the wrong answer of their test, or the right answer of their test. When in reality, it's like we need to kind of step back and understand, what emotion am I currently filtering this test through? Because every time I do that, it changes everything. Because a lot of times I'm interpreting my test as a fucking disservice or a hardship or something that really fucking sucks. When in reality, the test is a blessing because it was custom made and custom fit and custom tailored for me in my life to be able to create and earn and develop whatever the fuck it is that I declare and say I'm going to earn and create and develop.
Damn, dude.
So, there's only so many emotions that exist within our society. And this is the thing, is like, I was listening to this interview of this woman from North Korea who escaped, and she was talking about, like, we don't even know, like, the word, like, we don't even have words for certain emotions, like, or ideas. It's like, if you were to think about freedom, what emotion does that give you? What ideas does the word freedom provoke inside of you? And, you know, we're all going to have our own answer to that, which I'm sure a lot of times they're going to be very similar answers. But freedom is like, it's free. It gives you a certain type of feeling, right? So what she was saying is, she's like, we never learned the word freedom. So we never had any way we never wanted it or didn't want it. You know, growing up in communism in North Korea, it's like, she's like, we have no concept or idea of freedom. So we never want that. We just know what we know. We don't know anything else. So if that's the case, then I don't even know. You know what I'm saying? I just want to, like, live every day. I just want my daily bread. And that's the thing, is like, that's kind of like I said, well, it's not kind of, but that is a human right to be able to have your daily bread every fucking day. And there's some that are fortunate and less fortunate than others in terms of their daily bread. Some people's daily bread is an absolute abundance, and some people's is an absolute scarcity, and some people's is an absolute blessing, and some people's is an absolute curse, and this and that. And it's like, for a long time, I thought the meals I ate, because they were gross, I looked at it as a bad thing. But looking back, I'm like, well, it was enough to keep me alive, and it was enough to build some proper appreciation within my brain. So it's like, dude, being that we're all going to filter through different emotions because we speak the same language is going to do a lot for the way that we think and shit, right? And it's like, and for sharing contexts and perspectives. Because, dude, when we all go through the same emotions, It's like you can boil everything down to an emotion. Well, how did you feel in that moment? And then you can analyze and get a lot of perspective based off of how you felt. So that's the thing, is when somebody else lays out a blueprint or they say things in words that you've only felt, you're like, oh, hold on, let's talk about that. And when you talk about it, you can relate to the emotion. And when you can relate and be related to about the emotion of something, that now shifts into problem solving. And there's a big difference being in your emotions versus problem solving. So that's the thing, is if we can use our emotions, which basically we can relate to through the sharing of context and perspectives, then we're basically able to establish this whole realm and world of understanding, feeling heard, and being peaceful. Because we related to each other's emotions, now there's a solution. Once you've understood the emotion, it takes away the fear. Once your emotion's been understood, it removes the fear. It now starts applying understanding. And that's a powerful tool, because life's way different when you feel understood versus when you feel like nobody the fuck understands you.
Damn, dude.
So that leads me, it's like, all right, like I said, this is just called what if. We're just going, and I realize not all these questions start with what if, but they're all like weaved through what if means. So what's the meaning of life? How often do you think about that? What does that mean to you? I know some people, and I used to do this, would just like exhaust myself thinking about the meaning of life. And I've come to a pretty clear understanding of what the meaning of life is for me. And that's the thing, is up to all of us to be able to do it for ourselves. So for me personally, the meaning of life is on a lot of different planes, and there's a lot of different answers to this, because it depends on the context of the meaning of life. If we were to say, if I were to be asked, okay, what's the meaning of life? I wouldn't just answer that. I would say, well, would you mean overall as a whole in humanity, or are you asking me about my personal life and my personal duties? Like, where are we applying this to, right? Are we talking in regards to family? Are we talking in regards to creating, right? Like, what context are we applying this to? And I think that's where a lot of people get lost, is they try and apply that question to all these things in one shot. When that's the thing, is life isn't just one thing. I mean, it is when you zoom all the way out, but like when we live in our daily, day-to-day lives, it's not just one thing. There's a billion unlimited possibilities and things going on and occurring at all time. So what is the meaning of life? It really depends on the context that you want to take that down. So I guess if I were to apply that to an overall whole of being a human, like what it means to be a human being in terms of the meaning of life to be a human being, I would say is to experience and appreciate life that we're given here. Because there's always something to appreciate no matter how bad you got it. And people who are complaining and, oh, my people this and that, and that's bullshit. Just stop. Yes, there are real elements to it, but you're not going to ever have what the fuck you want if that's what we're focused on, right? So it's like, well, what is the meaning of life? I don't think the meaning of life is to worry and focus on your problems, right? So it's like, I think the meaning of life for humans as an overall, if we were to speak on humans from a very zoomed out view, would be to experience life via love and fear. I would say that's overall human life. Now, if we were to break this down in a way where it's personal and on a daily level and how it applies to myself, well, I would say, well, hold on. Before we do that, I would say to the overall application of humans, I would say also add to that, and this isn't my own creation, it's something I learned, which is life is empty and meaningless, and it's empty and meaningless that it's empty and meaningless.
Damn, dude.
So what do I mean by that? That's not in some like despairing, oh, it's hopeless, life doesn't mean shit. It's like, no, it's actually in a very deep, positive way. It doesn't mean anything, and it doesn't mean anything that it doesn't mean anything. So, the fuck do I mean by that? Well, it's like, okay, like how I was describing, well, this happened. It's good or bad, blah, blah, blah. Okay, it doesn't mean anything. Whether you call it good or bad, what are you going to do about it? The meaning of it is empty and meaningless. Life's meaning doesn't mean anything because the point of it is to be experienced and felt and lived. And what is the meaning of experiencing, feeling, and living? Well, there's not really any meaning to that other than just to experience, live, and feel, right? So that's why I think like the meaning of life is that it's meaningless, and it's meaningless that it's meaningless. It doesn't mean anything that it doesn't mean anything. So that's the thing is, if I were to say, well, life is just empty and meaningless, it's like, well, no, it's empty and meaningless that it is empty and meaningless. It doesn't mean anything that it doesn't mean anything. Right? And it's like, if you can understand that, cool. If that's like beyond your comprehension, cool. Also, like I said, this is meant to click for who it's supposed to click for, right? Like, so that's the thing is like, I do believe we experience universal emotions, but I don't believe that we experience the exact same problems. But how we relate to problems is through the same filter and means and lens in a sense. So that leads me to the next thing. Well, if life is empty and meaningless, and it's empty and meaningless that it's empty and meaningless, what is there from a place of nothing? What can happen and what can be created from a place of nothing? What do you have in the space of nothing? Well, what you have is the possibility of anything.
Damn, dude.
In the space of nothing is the possibility and opportunity of anything. So that's why when you come from nothing, anything is possible. So that's why if life means nothing and it means nothing that it means nothing, then that means anything is possible, and it doesn't mean anything by anything is possible other than anything is possible. So it's like it's possible that anything is possible because anything is possible, because life doesn't mean anything, and it doesn't mean anything that doesn't mean anything. So what if anything was possible? Well, if we can understand that life is empty and meaningless, and it's empty and meaningless that it's empty and meaningless, then the possibility of any possibility becomes a possibility.
Damn, dude.
Damn, dude.
And with anything possible, what can you create? What if you believed anything was possible? What would you create? What would you will into existence? What would you do? What would you have? What would you want? What if you could have whatever you want? What if you believed in that? Right? So let me ask this next question. What if we believed in a highest version of ourself? What if? Just entertain it. You don't have to believe this or fucking anything. Just try it on for a little. If by the time you turn this episode off and you don't subscribe to this way of thinking, then just let it go. Who fucking cares? All you did was try it on for a second. It doesn't mean that's who the fuck you are or what you believe in or whatever. I try on different ideas all the fucking time. I'm like, what's it like to be this? What's it like to be that? And that's how, like, for me, I'm able to, like, not be mean or, like, talk shit on people because it's like, I get what that's like, right? So, what if we believed in a highest version of ourselves? What if we set in place a structure and daily goals to work towards being that highest version of ourselves?
Damn, dude.
So what would that even look like, or what would that mean? What is our highest self? Well, I'm not talking about being smoked the fuck out. I'm talking about the ultimate, the best version of you imaginable. You don't even have to have lived into this or even be this in any way. But it's like, what's possible? What could you imagine the absolute best version of you looking like, smelling like? What do they wear? Where do they go? Who do they hang out with? What do they spend their time doing? How many hours a week do they spend working? How many hours a week do they spend with their kids, their family, their friends, their loved ones, doing hobbies, activities? You know what I'm saying? All these things. And if you are unclear on this, I highly, 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 highly recommend go check out the Virtual Foundation through the Ignite Self-Mastery app. Ignite Self-Mastery app, Virtual Foundation. That will give you the structure and the blueprint and the actual practice of creating what and who the highest version of yourself is and where they allot their time. What do they do? What do they smell like? What do they eat? What do they wear? What's their routine? What's their schedule? A lot of us don't think this deep about what the highest version of ourselves could be. It's like you have muscles that you can't even see right now. You have lost weight that you can't even imagine having off right now. I mean, I guess you can only imagine that you have off right now. What skills do you have? Where do you go? What type of car do you drive? What clothes do you wear? What do you look like? What do you smell like? All these things, right? And I know I say, what do you smell like a lot? Because that's a big one to me, which is like, smells mean so much to me. Like if you smell good, that's such a big deal to me. And if you stink, that's also such a big deal to me. So that has me thinking, all right, what's the best version of me smell like? And for me, and I'm sure for other human beings, because we're all human beings, smells have the ability to teleport me, and I believe other human beings, to such specific times and places in life to where you're like, I would have never remembered. Or it's like, when I smell a smell that's like so reminiscent of something, it like immediately teleports me back. Now, like, whenever I think about this, there's one specific example, and is growing up, I'm maybe like 13 or 14 years old, and I had in 7th grade, I saved up and bought a PlayStation 1. That was like my first big purchase ever. I was in 7th grade, I bought a PS1, and on this game, I had got it chipped and burnt games and the whole thing, right? My shit was sick. And for those of you that remember, I used to fucking slang the chip for the fucking PS1s. And then my dad would help me solder them, and then we would sell the games and all. Dude, for those of you that remember, I'm sure there's people that still have games and PlayStations from me and my dad. But anyway, I remember there was like this specific, there was a while my mom got into like incense and stuff, and like, or like, is that what it's called? No, potpourri. Is it called potpourri or potpourri? Potpourri or potpourri? Potpourri. For those of you guys know what I'm talking about, potpourri, I haven't even heard that word in so many years, and I haven't seen or smelled potpourri in so fucking long. If you're young and you don't know what potpourri is or potpourri, I don't know how to. I have never even seen the word spelled before. It's basically this old school version of incense that's probably loaded with crazy chemicals. But like, there was this specific one, and it's like you light a candle under it, and then it's like this shit inside a little jar, and then it kind of like, the heat like makes the smell dissipate from that little jar of smell good stuff. But there's this one, I don't know why, I don't know if anybody else does this, but sometimes smells will occur to me as a color. So like when I smell this smell, it occurs to me as like a aqua blue turquoisey sort of color. Now that I'm saying this out loud, I think because there was a Bath and Body Works or Victoria's Secret scent that was that color that reminds me of that smell. But I remember playing the game, I believe it was called Reloaded on PlayStation 1. And I think I was playing it with my homie Puff. He was at my house. And I just remember I kept sitting on the sofa and the coffee table back and forth as I was playing. And then like, at the time, it's weird because usually my homie Puff's way more into video games than I am. But at this time, I was just like so into this game. It was just so fun to me. And that smell and where I was sitting and my distance from the TV. I don't know. Sometimes I randomly smell that smell, like the exact same smell. And it teleports me to that exact second in my life to where I remember looking at the game, looking at my controller, looking at the table, looking at Puff, looking at the sofas, the carpet, the colors. It was like the middle of the day. I think we just got home from school. There's like this specific smell when you walk home from school when you're a kid that it's like you kind of smell like asphalt, or like there's like this like not tar smell, but like asphalt sort of smell that sticks on you when you've like walked home in the hot sun on the street for like a couple miles. I don't know. It's random as fuck. But I remember that smell and I was like, oh, I fucking stink. Like, so I remember that. I remember like having that smell when I came home. I didn't shower yet or anything. I was just so excited about this game. And like, I don't know. I smell that smell and it just brings me all the way the fuck back there. So that's all. I say all that to round about that to what does your highest self smell like? because smells have the ability to fucking teleport us in such crazy ways. Like if you remember the way your grandma or grandpa smelled, or like your parents if they're older, or like an ex-girlfriend or a current girlfriend or whatever the fuck, right? An ex-boyfriend, whatever, right? Or like a certain cleaning product will remind you of a certain job or a certain time period, or like sometimes smells will connect you to songs or images or like all these different things. So it's like, okay, if I can put what I smell like into the future, every time I smell that, it's a reminder of success and winning and a version of my highest self.
Damn, dude.
So, what if we deposited 1% of betterment, knowledge, and life experience into every day that we are blessed to wake up and be alive?
Damn, dude.
Damn, dude.
That's a really good motherfucking question. I'll tell you what. What does that 1% every day look like? To me, what I'm realizing is that 1% every day is daily tasks and a power list. And within that, those all include making myself 1% better in every way possible so I can become the best version of me. Now, I fall off here and there and whatever, it happens, but this is where it's like I'm practicing to completely change my entire way of doing, living, and existing, because I see that it's possible. And when I can practice integrity in different modes and creating a vacuum in life of, okay, out with the old, in with the new, that's what I've been learning a lot about lately in the laws of prosperity, is like, you've got to create a vacuum for the things that you want, because life responds to that. The moment, shoom, you put it out, boom, it's got to refill. Now, intentions and a lot of this have to do with this as well. And there's a lot of caveats to this, but more so what I'm saying is when we have 1% deposited into the good bucket of building ourselves and learning more and doing best and becoming our highest version of ourselves, every time we put 1% into it, every day, it just compounds. And over time, you just become good. So that's why it's kind of an insult when people who are really good at their craft are told, wow, you're so good at this. And you're like, good skill doesn't really have anything to do with this. This is just a time thing. All I did was put in the time. I started at nothing. I started with no knowledge, and I just did it over time. So if at some point you guys tell me, wow, you're really good at podcasting, I appreciate it. And that's kind of an insult because it's you can be too. Go listen to the first episodes, or like, because documenting on my Instagram, like you see, I clearly have no clue what I'm doing. I didn't start good. I had no fun. Like, I'm still not like good. I'm just doing it. And it's a time thing. So when you do whatever it is that you do over a certain amount of time, it's like, no, this isn't natural talent. Some people have natural talent for certain things, but no, it's a time thing. It's like, me and my son Nate would talk about that a lot. He's like, man, it's kind of an insult when people are like, bro, like, you're so naturally gifted at guitar. He's like, dude, the fucking like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours I spent have nothing to do with natural talent. You know what I mean? So that's how I feel when I teach swimming or whatever. It's like, I just accept it and I don't debate it or think this and that, you know, and I'm not like insulted. But it's more like, if I like analyze it, right? I'm like, fuck, man, like, no, I mean, yes, I'm good at this, but it has nothing to do with me being naturally great or anything just fucking coming to me. I worked really fucking hard, and I just put in the time to do this every single day, and so can you.
Damn, dude.
So therefore, it's all equal opportunity. But it's like, if I'm putting 1% into my, so let's say me creating this podcast or speaking or anything, if I put in 1% into this podcast, I'm actually putting 2% in every week, because it's fucking, I'm putting it in, I'm doing 2 episodes a week. So that's 2 deposits every single week into the podcast bucket. So what do you think I'm going to have after fucking 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 years if I just keep depositing into the bucket? Like, just because of the time that's gone by and the deposits into the bucket, I now have something that is of skill and seemingly talent. And that's not even really the case. It's just a matter of time. And anybody can time their way into any sort of skill set. So, and that's something I've been learning a lot through skateboarding again recently. I was like, damn, I have to relearn this every time. No matter how much time I put into this, if I stop for this period of time or even a week, I'm like, I got to restart and relearn all this shit, you know? So, we're going to run through these last ones kind of quick because we're running out of time here. What if we appreciated the smaller things? What would be possible in your life if you appreciated the smaller things? Like socks, shelter, food, door handles, locks, electricity, soap, door steps, door frames. What if you appreciated that shit? What if you appreciated the cabinets? What if you appreciated the shape and structural integrity of your cup? Or the chair that you're sitting on? Or the headphones you're listening through, or the fucking phone you're using, or the computer you're using? What if you appreciated all these smaller things? What would your life look like? What would become possible if you could accept and appreciate everything you have in existence and then accept it, give away what you don't want, what you don't need, what doesn't serve you, to welcome and accept and create a vacuum for new things in life that you do want and you do accept?
Damn, dude.
What if you spoke to others the way we spoke to God?
Damn, dude.
Damn, dude.
What would be possible? Holy fuck. What if others spoke to us the way that they spoke to God? Like in that Knuckle Bear song, do you speak to me like you speak to God? Yo,
Damn, dude.
that's deep as fuck. What would be possible? What could be accomplished? What if you stopped evolving your consciousness and knowledge as a human? What if you just stopped evolving your consciousness? So for those of you lost in TV and series and all this shit, what if you just continued on that path? What's your life going to be like? What type of old person are you going to be when you're 60, 70, 80? Are you going to be a cool as fuck old guy, or are you just going to have a couple jokes and some fucking cool shows to recommend? I want to be way more, I want to have way more to offer than just a couple good one-liners from shows that I fucking watched and I took the jokes from. And, you know, oh, grandpa's funny. He knows about this show, whatever. Like, who gives a fuck, dude? Like, let's go skateboard, bro. Like, I'm your grandpa. Let's go fucking skateboard and do some cool shit, right? So it's like, what would and could be possible if you stopped learning and stopped expanding your consciousness? Now, at the same time, what could be possible if you kept evolving your consciousness and wisdom and everything you know over time? Fuck, man, anything could be possible. So remember, say this with me. I am. Let me say this in a better tone. Say this with me, guys. Say this to yourself. Think it to yourself. I am simply claiming my prosperous heritage from the source of all my blessings.
Damn, dude.
Damn, dude.
Give me this day my daily bread.
Damn, dude.
Damn, dude.
You all deserve your bread. I hope you get yours. I'm trying to get mine. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Hope you guys have a beautiful motherfucking day. This episode was really fun. I like to experiment with different layouts and shit. This was cool. A lot of good shit to think about. Wanna be here for days. Surf by the 38. Sun, touch your face. Not the B, not the hit. Last one's a PS2. And it's gonna be me and you.
Damn, dude.
Damn, dude.
Please be sure to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell your best friends, cousins, uncles. T-Rex sculpting art theater performer, dance instructor about the Damn Dude podcast, because this show exists to help educate, entertain, and make an impact on the different lives, on the different contexts and perspectives that we have in life. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. If you guys got any value, if we were able to put things into words for things you had only thought before, please, please, please go share the love and share this on your Instagram, share this on your Facebook, share it with a friend, send a text message about it to somebody, hit the little thing, copy, share episodes, send it to fucking 5 friends, something, anybody you feel could benefit from this or learn from this or it would help them out in any shape or form or capacity. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Have a beautiful day. Much love. Peace.
Damn, dude.
Damn, dude.